Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Surge. I'm going to be trying to do something for today's webcam premiere that I did a while ago for a casual. I'm just going to be recording a tournament report thing, recording a little thing after each of my rounds, and then at the end of the day I'll probably record a deck profile that I'll staple onto the end. If you just want to see the deck, I'll put a timestamp on the screen for you to go jump to that. But today's the day of the April 5th premiere. This is a very exciting day because we have hit player cap. This is the first one that with the new pricing with the premiere packs, which is definitely why we hit player cap. But there's probably just also like an element of, oh, Dallas was a big boost for the game in general. More people put their eyes on it when we got a 400-person event, and like more people are energized to play. In addition to the premiere pack stuff. So really big day, but because we're at max capacity, that's going to create some weird things with the top 8. So like with Swiss to top cut, you have like the different amounts of rounds based on the range of players, right? You have like it's like 5 to 8, then like every time it doubles. 9 to 16. Then 17 to 32, then 33 to 64, and we are in the 65 to 128 range. The 65 to 128 range is unique because weird things happen when you get into the upper limits of that player range. Because the 65 to 128 range is using 7 Swiss rounds and cut to top 8. But at the very top ends of the player limit, X2 stop topping. It is very likely that like maybe one X2 will top today. And this is a behavior that does not happen at the 129 to 256 range and the 257 to 512 range. You can hit max capacity at both of those, and you will not have this result where no X2s are topping. And that's because the increase of top cut that you see in those ranges offsets the increase in number of X2 players enough. It outpaces it, in fact. So yeah, today's gonna be weird. So like if we had 128 real players, we would have 0 X2s topping. It would be 1 XO and 7 X1s at the end of Swiss. However, because of the nature of play one round, you get premiere packs, we will probably have a significant amount of drops, a significant amount of 0-1 drops, which would result in some amount of X2s managing to top. Probably only 1 or 2, but we will probably see at least 1 X2 manage to top. And fortunately, we also have top 16 pricing. Fortunately, it was said in general yesterday that they did produce enough Premier Pack 1, expecting that Premier Pack 1 would cause them to start hitting cap on webcam premieres and have to expand the participation size. And expanding the participation cap by even 1 player puts us into the 8-round top 16 cut range where this stops happening. So that's very good to hear. Hopefully we see that at the next tournament. But I will no longer be waiting until like the day before to sign up for premieres. I will be signing up for premieres the day signups go live from now on, because we are now at a point where slots running out is a real possibility, and I think a lot more people are going to be a lot more urgent with signing up for premieres because of that fact. So yeah. So what am I playing today? I'm playing Tornadjinn. Of course, I'm playing fucking Tornadjinn. It's what I've been playing for like all month. I really enjoyed this deck. My Clash stuff came in, so it's really foiled out now. I've got the full art Eddies, full art Ash Rabbits. I have 2 full art Tornadjinns now. The second came in from TCG Player while I was still down in Florida. The Stellar Earthquake. Got the 2 full art shields. The tsunamis that aren't full art are the Stellar from the Clash pack. So very nice and foiled out. But also, yesterday, some new Battle Network sleeves that released came in. I've got these very nice Falzar sleeves on my main deck, and then on my Spirit deck, I have the Greyguard sleeves. Very, very nice. I'm very excited to be playing with these sleeves. One of the things I really appreciate about something like the Spirit deck existing is it lets me accessorize my deck more. But yeah, so that's going to be it for the intro. I will be back after round 1 and tell you how it goes. See you guys then. Well, that was a stressful round 1. We got paired up with Coder right away. Coder was on the Lunar Earth deck, of course. Very, very close. I only managed to take game 3 because I just opened double Embro plus Crackle, and that allowed me to clinch the game. Ascension into Tornadjinn over a Sorlet was really good late in the game to ensure I had the back row I needed to cement my position. Really tough, but that matchup is beatable for this deck. Very, very beatable. You have enough heal. That deck doesn't really have any heal, guys, which is one of I'd say its main drawback compared to other decks in the format is that it doesn't have any additional heal. It just has the natural heal from of Ambrosia. And it has Scythe, of course, but Scythe isn't the same as a heal 3 guy, which we can side into 4 of, and Tornadjinn will help ensure that we actually find them. Side into I probably only lost game 2 because I couldn't find a calf bell all game, but it is what it is. Oh man, that was rough. That was a really rough round 1. I hope my round 2 isn't so rough. I was hoping for an easier round 1 given the amount of people in this tournament, and the pool of really talented players hasn't really changed yet. So I was really hoping for an easy round 1, but did not get that. All right, round 2 done. As I hoped, we are still in this stage where even at XL we can get some really easy matchups. This was a first timer. He was on Q's deck from Dallas, and that deck is pretty hard to pilot, and there's a reason why only Q has discovered that deck and succeeded with it. I also have a decent amount of ideas of what to do against that because I had to find the PNM a couple weeks back before Dallas. Went into Dallas very aware of that deck. But we won 2-0. Pretty easy sweep. Game 2 we just ran away with the game. Game 1 we resolved both Argos, which was very fun. It did screw up. The anti-synergy that Argo does have with this deck did come up because I had a scenario where I needed 2 back row to protect my Windjinn so that I could re-enchant and get to Tornadjinn. But the second back row, the only option there was an Argo, and that meant that I went into my deck and shuffled, and thus the stack was broken. Also, the Windjinn ended up dying anyways. But it was... there were some pretty clear indications of a newer player, stuff like turn 1 casting out a Viscerus when you go first. That's not something you typically want to be doing. Viscerus is something that you want to be playing into your opponent's established board to threaten them and force out back row, or run away with the game with Viscerus being Viscerus. But yeah, first time player, is what it is. I'm not sure if round 3 will still have enough of those first timers in the XO bracket, but we have started off 2-0, which is a good start, especially since, as I said, at the start of the video, this tournament is going to be very rough for making top 8 on X2. It's depending on how many people dropped X1, it ranges from impossible to very, very difficult, 1 or 2 people will make it. But my real goal is just to make top 16 and get that sick carry off in another Premier pack. If I can make top 8 in this historically difficult tournament to make top cut, then I'll take it. But I'm not betting on it because I basically need to go X1 for that to happen. Hello. All right, round has been called, so I don't have long here. I fought a weird like solar pile deck. I had like Nebulos, and I had the Draco Ray stuff. I had Helioth in there. I got game one because I ended up needing to commit to a necklace that I couldn't get off the field immediately, and the burn from that put me pretty far back, and it just put me in a bad place, which was a bit annoying. But we sweep games 2 and 3 like no contest. Very, very easy. I got another easy round, thankfully. We're going into round 4, 3-0, which is good, but it also means that the chances of getting an easy round going forward until we go into the X1 bracket is pretty low. So yeah, still 3-0. So we'll see how it goes. And I did beat Coder round 1, so you know, maybe the luck is with me. Oh, as I said, getting top cut in this tournament is going to be rough because of the nature of having this many players in a 7-rounder. All right, round 4 done. We 2-0'd again. Everyone who was left, Spicy Sausage was one of the players I felt the most comfortable into because they were probably on some sort of heal deck. It wasn't quite heal Argo, because they were actually not on the Sluggle stuff, which is a development I've seen happening, but I think typically they're going to Calf-Mal over the Sluggle. But it wasn't actually quite heal. It was like more like a 5s with some Thunder Heal stuff in there, which led to me siding incorrectly in game 2, because I brought in a 3rd Calf-Mal and brought in 2 Spoiled Fruits, which could have been really bad for me. They were dead for a lot of the game. I drew into all 3 of my Calf-Mal early. Like he expanded to draw turn 1 on game 2, and then I went, okay, open board state, let's go Winjin. Declare Lumaru, don't hit Lumaru. Top 3 is Calf-Mal, Tsunami. And it's like, oh, that's not great. I already have a Calf-Mal in hand, and I don't really have a lot of great ways of setting up the Solars I need in my Underworld right now. And then he drew both the Specteris as he side in. It's like, oh, this is really rough. This is really tough for me. But we did eventually manage to get through. We started drawing into Lumarus, forcing crashes, and then finally we were able to clear the board so that third Calf-Mal could come down and clinch us the game after spoiled fruiting a Crackle to stop him from getting ahead on Spirits. Really, really close one, even though it was a 2-0 there. Yeah. That was but we are now 4-0, which is the exact same position I was round 4 of Dallas. If I end up having the same trajectory that I had in Dallas, that means I will make top 16 pricing almost certainly, because my tiebreakers will be really, really good because I won't be losing until really late. But yeah, we're doing well. Let's see how it goes for the rest of the tournament. See you guys after the next round. Sad, we have taken a loss. We fought Shuret on Fire Nexus. We made a really critical misplay early in the game, which was he had an Eddy out, and I had the option of going my own Eddy, switch to defense, or Water Enchanted Sorlet. And I did the Water Enchanted Sorlet, despite the fact that that plays super hard into Argo, which so many people are on right now, myself included. I didn't know at that stage what deck he was on, but like the logic is like if you do the Eddy line, they can't force a crash, because their only real option is to go Scythe, and that just causes them to bounce off, and that puts you in a much better position. But when I went with the Sorlet line, died to Necklace Argo. And the other thing is, when it's Fire Nexus, even if they were on Scythe, if they have to go the Scythe line to keep their thing up, they can't get fires on the board for Kinleo. And then next turn, Kinleo comes down. I'm not able to deal with it. And it just like takes over the game because it's just the loop gets set up where it's going Kinleo to Ash Rabbit, go, hey, I'd like some altars back from my Underworld. And then altar back from the Ash Rabbit to the Kinleo. Kinleo next is from the Kinleo to the Ash Rabbit. on and on and on and on and on, which is very, very brutal. It's devastating. And once it got into that scenario, like without Crowd Blast in my main board, there's not much I can really do about that. Game 2, much closer, but we just did not have guys in the late game scenario where we really needed it. We did make a similar misplay where we played into Argo and we could have gotten around it. Could have played it a bit safer. But it is what it is. Now if we win the next 2 rounds, we still make top 8. If we win one of the next 2, we should make top 16 because our losses aren't happening until round 5 or later. So we should be able to secure that carry off, I think. That is my primary goal today. I want to get that carry off. But we'll see how it goes. I'll see you guys after next round. All right, round 6 finished. We got the down pair. We got the down pair into some like janky fire deck. So we got a clean 2-0 win. I had some knowledge about this deck because they fought Ari in round 5. So I was able to look, I saw that in Ari's tournament report, Ari had mentioned, it's like Blazers OTK / Krakatuka burn. It's like, what? How? And it was Krakatuka stuff in the sideboard. That's what it was. As fire players do, they always see the one of Lolith. But it's fine. We got there. We got there pretty cleanly. Never got to Tornadjinn, do any Tornadjinn stuff that game, which is a bit of a bummer. But we should be locked in for a top 16 finish and getting that carry off. Now we just see if we can win round 7 to get into top 8. All right. Yeah, like my tiebreaker, like I'm looking right now, I have the highest tiebreaker of anyone. In fact, I might still make it into top 8 as a 5-2 because of the amount of people who dropped round 1, there should be at least one slot for an X2. And my tiebreaker is good enough that it might get me in there. But I also did get down paired, so that's probably going to screw with my tiebreaker a bit next round. But it's still like 61%. Like, it's still a really good tiebreaker. So, you know, we'll see what happens. We did it! We won round 7, clean 2-0. It was a more jank version of Fire Nexus with like Caperfume and Smokey and stuff like that. We just got a clean 2-0 win. Game 2, they were having a lot of trouble drawing guys. In game 1, they had to what was it? They had to mulligan. End of game 2 was very scary. They flipped up 2 eruptions on me. I was like, I had 7 spirits, so I lived it, and I kept a win as the last one because I had a Kafnal on board, and I just ascended into Tornadjinn, and I had an Ambrosian in hand, so I was in a really good position to recover from that. Because they just drew dead for so long and had to expend to draw several turns in a row. I did not draw fantastic in that game early on either, so like I'm kind of glad they were drawing dead. Like I wasn't seeing much of any back row, which was a struggle. But we got there. That gives us top 8 guarantee. Don't have to worry about potentially bubbling out on the top 16 prizing. We're at top 8. Okay, I'm fine if I lose immediately in top 8. That's fine. I haven't gotten into top 8 since the Daybreak tournament back in October. Was the last time I made a run this far. So, you know, very, very happy about it. And very happy to get the carry off, the top 16 carry off at the first tournament where it's being distributed. Super sick, super cool. Yeah. I will talk to you guys later. Well, we lost in top 8, unfortunately. We got paired into Sherwood again, who we fought in round 5 and lost to, and we lost again. It was much closer this time. I was able to take it to game 3. And in time, I was pretty well positioned. But my only back row was Shield. He dropped Lovalith. I was like, okay, maybe we can get out of this if we just draw the right card. But then he flips double eruption. It's like, fuck, man. I really can't stand eruption. That card is so obnoxious. It's never going to be used in a way that isn't going to feel unfair and like cheesy. Really, really sucks. I really don't like that card existing in the game. It sucks. But yeah, we finished top 8. We get the cool carry off. We get 3 Premier packs. I believe we also get one of those Pandora's box bundles. Yeah, we also get Pandora's box bundle, so that's cool. Hopefully we can go farther next time. But after this is the deck profile. And here is the list. It is pretty similar to what I ran at Dallas. But there are a few takeaways I got from Dallas. Number one, of course, was Apollo Bad. Apollo Bad card, even if it results in Winjin going off less often, is better for everything that isn't the Tornadjinn package to just be good. It is worth noting that as a result of that cut, it was very rare for me to get the Winjin and Tornadjinn, but like that was just me low rolling, to be honest. It was all I had a bit of trouble getting the double proc of Winjin to go off, but it would shoot through Gorgon's gazes really easily, which was really, really great. That's something you really want to be seeing, because it means they won't have them for other things that really matter. Other takeaways. In the PNM, I tried the 2 Galaxy that Purple Snorlax was running in their top 4 list. Those became Sorlets for reasons we will get into in a bit. Also, I want to try out Argo. I want to try out 2 Argo, 2 Necklace, because Argo proved itself to be extremely powerful at Dallas. And in the last PNM, I decided to see, okay, how well does that run in Tornadjinn? As it turns out, it runs pretty well. It is pretty solid. It runs really solid. Now it does have some natural anti-synergy in this deck, in that if you go Winjin with, but I now know the top 3, and you go Argo to protect Winjin, you have now looked in your deck, and you have to shuffle. So you lose the stack, which always sucks every time it happens. But Argo is so powerful that it's worth it, especially when it's like, okay, I Argo on the Calfmel or the Lumaru or the Sorlet, and now I just hard ascend into Tornadjinn. Like, it's still really good for those aspects. And those Ascension aspects give you more ways of getting the necklace off, so that's not, it's not taxing you. Also in the PNM list, I was running, Crackle. Crackle. This was a tech I picked up from the Dumadam at Dallas. The idea is you were on a bunch of Thunder already for Zeus stuff and Rabbit stuff, and Crackle gives you the 3rd healer name. So when you go Tornadjinn, you can declare Calfmel, Ambrosia, and Crackle, and that allows you to guarantee yourself a healer. Very, very strong. Very powerful to be able to do. In the PNM, I was running a slightly different counter rune lineup. I had -1 shield and -1 tsunami for 2 PTAs. PTA is fine enough into this format. It's pretty solid. However, something I started running into in the PNM is when you cast out Winjin, you want to declare something that's still at 3 copies in your deck. But because of that counter rune lineup, even if you typically don't want to declare a counter rune because that gives away you don't have that counter rune, because I was on those 2-ofs, I was running into some scenarios where I didn't really have a 3-off to declare late in the game, when I would have if I was on 3 Tsunami, 3 Shield. So that, in combination with PTA's general weaknesses at the moment, made me decide to switch back to switch over to 3 Gorgons, 3 Shield, 3 Tsunami, 2 Argo, and we have the PTAs in the side. Yeah, this was super solid. Oh yeah, the Sorlets. So tried the Galaxies. I was trying them in the same list as Argo. The problem I was running into a lot is that because your best card to be getting with Argo at the moment is the Necklace of Harmonia, the Necklace of Harmonia buffs the attack stat. Galaxy will then immediately swap that buff to the defense stat. So Galaxy and Necklace had some pretty drastic anti-synergy that I didn't really want. So I went, okay, instead of Galaxy, Galaxy is good and has a lot of really good properties. But I will just go with Sorlet instead. And Sorlet was great. Sorlet was so good. Sorlet being a win, so if we properly enchant it, it's another thing that we can threaten to ascend over into Tornadjinn. I did that round 1 against Coder. It was really, really strong. And it's just more eddies. You can water enchant it so that it's a water 5. Really, really good card. Really enjoyed the 2 Sorlet. It was really great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I am actually a bit high on the 1-cost guys. I'm at 18 copies, 18 1-cost guys. But that's because some of our 1-cost guys are kind of fake. Like Wenjin only has 3 attack, Kafma only has 2 attack, Crackle only has 2 attack, and then of course Ash Rabbit only has 2 attack. So like I ended up going a bit higher on guys, on 1-cost guys, because I want to have a good enough number of 1-cost Elestrals that threaten the board. So we have the 3 5-attack Lumarus, we have the 2 5-attack Sorlets, then we have the 1 Elochek that gets Zeus, and we have the 3 copies of Eddie, which switches something to defense, and then bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, this deck was fantastic. Ran incredibly well. I don't think I'm going to be changing anything about the main board. The one thing I might consider is like dropping a Lumaru for Sorlet, or like maybe dropping a Winjin for another Sorlet. I could see something like that being done. 2 Kafmel felt correct, even though there wasn't actually that much Winjin at this tournament compared to the PNM last week. But yeah, this felt super solid. For the Spirit deck, we were running 5 Solar, 5 Thunder, 4 Water, 4 Wind, and 2 Earth. This Spirit count felt perfect. So one of the things that I strayed away from pretty early on compared to a Dumadam's Tornadjinn list is that very quickly I decided I didn't want Spectaris in my deck because despite Spectaris being a pretty solid card, it was putting a lot of extra strain on the Spirit deck by requiring Lunars. So I very quickly decide I don't want to run Spectaris. I want to run 5s like Sorlet and Galaxy that are in colors we are already in so that we can go deeper in on those colors. 5 Solar has always felt just perfect. It's just the right amount for what we need, especially after cutting Apollo. 5 Solar has been perfect every single time. I've never felt I needed more than this. 5 Thunder is the really perfect amount because when you're running Zeus, and especially with the amount of rune removal being pretty low now, I really like having the ability to go 3 Thunder onto Zeus. And 5 gives us the amount that we can go like Ash Rabbit, Elochek, and then triple Thunder on Zeus, or Ash Rabbit, triple Thunder on Zeus, and still have a Thunder for Crackle, or Elochek, triple Thunder on Zeus, another Thunder for Crackle. Yeah, it's just like the exact amount we want. When I was at 4, I often felt myself feeling like I just needed 1 more Thunder. So the 5 Thunder has been exactly what we want. For Water, we have 4. This is really a comfy number because we do have the space for it. There's enough for the Eddies, the Galaxies when we bring them in, Misenchants on Lumarus and Lumarus and Sorlets, and of course the Tsunamis that we're running 3 of. Very rarely feel that we need more than these 4. This 4 feels perfect. Then we have 4 Wind. You can go lower on this, and when I side out a Spirit for a Frost, for reasons that are probably obvious to most players, it is always a Wind I'm taking out. But 4 Wind is pretty comfy because that gives us room for like double Winjin, still have more Wind left over for a hard ascend. When we go for Sorlet play with it properly enchanted, we need the Wind to enchant it with, and then a Wind to expend. And after we do that, we still have enough Winds to do like double Winjin plays or whatever. So 4 really felt really comfy and really perfect. You can get away with 3, as I do anytime I'm siding in Cryoblast. but 4 is really, really nice and comfy. And then we have 2 Earth for the Earthquake. It's not there for anything else, but Earthquake is so good that we want the 2 Earth for the Earthquake. And then lastly, we have the sideboard. So we have 2 Galaxy to bring in matchups where it's really good. I wasn't running into a lot of those today, unfortunately. But I did bring it in top 8 versus Shurrit, and it put in some work there, but not quite enough to save me from Lavalith Double Eruption. Third Sorlet for when we want to bring it in. Came in a number of times. But a lot of what this is in here for is for the Blistrix matchup, because it's Sorlet single-handedly answers Aspral and Morolith, so it's really, really good there. I did not run into any Blistrix today. Blistrix popularity seems to have fallen off a cliff after Dallas, because it had a pretty bad conversion rate. It was the most played deck. Only 2 made top 16, and both those 2 died in the first round of top 16. So I imagine because of that, this is probably why we're seeing a lot less Blistrix today. 1 did make top 8. 6 once again performed on the deck. So very obviously not a fluke. He went 6-1 today and made top 8. But he died in top 8. So it's like, well, your luck has got to catch up to you eventually. Yeah. So, like, Blizz was not super popular today, so I didn't really bring in Sorlet much. There were a couple times I brought it in. But, like, one of the big reasons it's in here is because of how well it answers Aspral and Morolith. Third Calf Mouth, or when we need the healing. This is largely for when I'm fighting the heal Argo deck, so that I can go up on healing. There are some other times it comes up. I don't want to have 3 of it in the main, though, anymore, because Spectaris answers Calf Mouth so hard, and it can be really rough when you see all 3 copies. 2 copies of Boombat. This is, again, for Blistrix. I really need to respect Blistrix, but there are other scenarios where this card comes in, and I did side in a couple times today, and it was relevant. 2 copies of Cryoblast with the 1 Thermine to enable it. This is really good into Fire Nexus. A lot of their things are in range, like in particular Kinleo. You really want Kinleo to not stick on the board. You really want to get rid of it right away. And Cryoblast does that exactly. And there are other scenarios where you want to bring this in. Like, this was probably one of my most commonly side in. Yeah, this was my most commonly side in card alongside the PTAs. No, it was the Cryoblast, because my most common side ins were Cryoblast plus Boombat or Cryoblast plus PTA. Yeah. And really good into the fire matchup. Anytime I was in a matchup where it's like, okay, Argo feels a bit worse here, I'm gonna side out, and I would bring in the Cryoblast and PTAs typically. Yeah, very, very good. Hurricane. This was the worst card in the sideboard. I did not bring it in a single time. I had in here for, like, if I'm fighting some weird rogue shit, I want Hurricane to make sure I can deal with it. But it just did not come up a single time. There was not a single matchup I ran into where I was like, okay, I want Hurricane here. I feel like I'm pretty likely to cut Hurricane going into the next Premier or the next PNM. Because Fire has become very popular. Did very well today. It's probably going to pick up even more popularity going forward. And I would really appreciate Temple of the Sun to play Stadium Wars against their Fire Stadium. 2 Spoiled Fruit. I only brought this in once against Spicy Sausage, and it was a miss side. I do want to respect the heal decks, but I'm also like, this card did not come up much, so I might take it out of my side. I don't know. I'm not sure. I do really want to respect those decks, though. And then 2 PTA. This came in very commonly. Basically, anytime Argo was not quite doing it for the matchup, like Fire, like, cannot be emphasized enough. Fire plays really well against Argo because Kenleo pops their guy, and if they don't have a guy, they can't Argo. But also, PTA is really good against Fire Nexus because PTA lets you go, okay, the Kenleo's not sticking. You are not getting the loop going. That is what PTA immediately accomplishes. So it is very, very good into that matchup for that reason. And like, there's still a lot of matchups where PTA is very, very strong. Like, PTA is not a bad card. Don't let anyone convince you that PTA is a bad card. it just matches up poorly into some of the popular cards like Werepup and Nobby at the moment. But it's still an overall very good card, and there's stuff it's very, very strong against. Like the fire decks that showed a lot of popularity and were 4 of my 8 rounds today. But yeah, that is the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed. And with that said, this is going to be Hunter Surge signing off.